All right, what's up, guys? In the classroom today. Sorry, we had cross country meet yesterday, and I just got behind on getting this stuff posted. All right, so if you were in class yesterday, what we're going to be starting on when we come back next week, we're going to work on until then is called the distributive property. What I'm going to do right now is just kind of go over it a little more detail than I did in class. I'm just going to talk about some of the important points of the distributive property. You should do these in your notes. I'll start off very simply. I'm going to kind of build up. We'll get into on Friday the why we're doing this. Knowing how to do distributive property will save you in algebra. It's used a whole lot. And the more advanced things get, the more you're going to see it and the more you're going to need to be able to use it. Okay, so just a reminder, I'll always have it up here. This is what the distributive property says. The distributive property says that if you have okay, and the way we say this, A times B plus C, okay, that is equal to, okay, A times B plus A times C, okay? All right, A plus B times A times C. And basically the way that works, if you want to remember, is you're distributing. You're giving the A, you're multiplying it times everything in there. Okay, now that's very important. Now, does it mean there'll always be two things in there? No, I'll show you. Will it always be addition? No. Sometimes it's going to get a little crazy, a little ugly. So I'll show you. Just as a for instance, look at it. Let's look at it like this. You could have A times B minus C. It's the same rule, but it would just be A times B minus A times C. Okay. Whatever's going on in here doesn't matter the operation. Okay. The A gets multiplied times everything in there. All right. Okay. So I'm going to keep this up at the top. All right. I'm going to keep this up at the top for you guys to be able to see. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit. A times B plus C equals A times B plus A times C. Okay. This is the distributive. If for some reason you didn't get this in your notes yesterday, you need to have that in there. This is one of the things you need to have in your bag of tricks, we may call it. Okay. So let's do some examples. Cool. So example number one, I'm going to start off pretty simply, and then we'll kind of move up. So we have, let's go with a -2, okay, times, let's do Z minus 8. So a -2 times Z minus 8. Now, remember, A times B plus A times C or minus whatever's in here. So the first is to distribute it to the first thing in there. Okay, so -2 times Z is just a -2Z. We talked about this. When the two things are together, that just means multiplication. All right. Now, what is our operation in the parentheses? It is a minus. So we'll just bring that minus down. Now we have a -2 times a +8, and that gives us a -16. And actually, that's kind of a mistake there. Hold on. Let's not do that yet. Let's write down what it is. This is minus a -2 times 8. Okay, let's show the distribution. Now, this day's a -2Z minus -2 times +8 is -16. All right, so now we've distributed it. Now, for those of you that remember the rules, we could actually go one more step, because taking away a negative is the same as adding a positive. Okay, a lot of students run into trouble with a distributive property when we're using positives and negatives. I hope this, if the video's stopping and stuff, I'm sorry, just kind of watch along the notes. I see it kind of keep pausing in front of me. So you just kind of have to watch and just kind of hold on, taking the notes, watching the next step. Okay, I'm going to do one what I would call like a medium. Okay, now I'm not going to use any negatives on the first one. I think this blue is showing up better, so I'm going to switch to the blue. We have 3 times. Okay, let's do x minus 4 plus, let's say, plus y. Okay, all right. So just because there's 3 things in here, it doesn't change any rules. We distribute the 3 by multiplication to each item in the parentheses. So we would have 3 times x minus 3 times 4 plus 3 times y. That's it, because that's what this means. 3 times x minus 3 times 4 plus 3 times y. Now we just need to go put these things together without the parentheses. 3x, because we can't do anything else with that. 3 times 4 is 12 plus, should have put a parentheses around that, 3y. Now this is a step. Once you get good at this, you'll be able to stop. Once you learn how to start writing your multiplication without parentheses, but if it helps you to remember, you can do that step. I'll do what I consider to be another medium. So let's do -5, okay, times negative a, okay, plus -7. Let's do that. -5 times -a plus -7. Using the distributive property, we're going to do a times b plus a times c. So we have a -5 times a -a plus, we just bring our plus down, -5 times -7. It's all you're doing is showing that you understand the operation of the distributive property. -5 times a -a negative times a negative, that's a positive, so that's a positive 5a. If you remember in our notes, the number beside the variable also means multiplication, just like it does right here. Then we move to our second terms. -5 times a -7 is a positive 35. So 5a plus 35. Now, why are we doing the distributive property? Well, look at this. This is a kind of a mess. I know if you're looking at this, especially with all these negative numbers, you're kind of freaking out. But look how much cleaner and simpler we made that. You would have never expected by looking at this that it would simplify to something like that. This is much easier for us to use than this. And that's the point in algebra, is going from the difficult to the easier. That's what we want to see happen in math. Now I'm going to show you one more, which would be, I consider what will be a difficult one to do. Okay. So let's say we had 3/4 times, let's use b plus 4/7 minus, no, we'll just do that. We'll just say this is a difficult one because of fractions. All right. It really, I only say that this is a difficult one because we have fractions in it. But if you know how to multiply fractions, this won't be tough for you at all. So first, a times b. So we have our a is 3/4 times b. Remember, the parentheses means multiplication, plus 3/4 times 4/7. Now we're already getting this simplified, making it look better. So let me drop my camera down, make sure you can see this. So 3/4 B, 3/4 times B is just 3/4 B, like that. Plus, now we're just multiplying two fractions, which is top times top, bottom times bottom. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 7 is 28. Now I would probably ask you to go ahead and reduce this fraction. 3/4 B plus, then you have to think what number goes into 12 and 28. The biggest number that does that is 4. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 4 goes into 28 7 times. 3/4 B plus 3/7. Now that's 4 difficult examples. You can watch this as many times and watch me do it. But I'm just going to wrap it up by doing, let's just talk about this one more time. A times B plus C. Just remember, step 1, A times B, okay? Then what is our operation? We bring it down. It's addition in this case, okay? And then we do, okay, A times C, and that's it. That's the distributive process. If you get started on that and just work on your multiplication, if you know what goes with what, you'll be okay. That's your video to watch for updating on how to do distributive property. I'm getting ready to post in Google Classroom some problems for you to do. You should have these in class with you on Friday. These will be pretty easy. I'll probably do 2 kind of easy, 1 medium, and maybe 1 little medium plus. And then we'll do some harder stuff in class on Friday and look at some other applications of the distributive property. Thanks, guys.